YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Carl coming at you from Golden Agreement Productions. On this one, we are going to be highlighting the 92 Dream Team. One of the videos that has been highly requested. One of the videos that I know for a fact I'm going to enjoy because one, it had a lot of the greatest players that ever played the game on that team. Charles Barkley, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan. You couldn't skip past this team for anything. So we're going to dive into this one. It's going to be a good one. I know it's going to be a long video, so I'm trying to decide how I'm going to break this up. But if you are new, please like, share, and subscribe to the video. It greatly appreciated. It helps me out tremendously. So we're going to hop straight into this, man. With no further ado, the 92 Dream Team. Let's get it.
Why do people talk about dreams so much in sports? Dream seasons, dream matchups, dream opportunities. They do it because so much of sports is about imagining what you want things to be like. If only the setting were just right.
It was one of those times none of us will ever forget.
The characters just right.
I don't know anything about Angola, but Angola's in trouble.
The timing just right.
11 Hall of Famers. I don't think you can ever do that again at no point in time.
If only it could all be the way you might have dreamed it up yourself.
Are you filming?
Yep. That was the most exhilarating 15 seconds of my life.
People perceived us as being superheroes.
There's a reason why they still talk about the Dream Team to this day. And it ain't just because Michael Jordan. Like, that team transcended a lot when it was like in regards to going forward. We've seen other teams go to the Olympics, even the Redeem Team. But the Redeem Team didn't have as many Hall of Famers. Like, I'm talking about first ballot championship winning Hall of Famers on it. The team with Kobe and LeBron in them was nice, give you that, but it didn't have the level of championship talent on there. Even players that aren't talked about like David Robinson and them who was on that team, championship winning. Some of the best bigs of all time. That team was just packed with star power, bro.
Please, Michael Jordan!
No Isaiah Thomas.
No Isaiah Thomas question.
Cool.
We became a team, and that team just stomped on everybody.
This never happened in sports. Nowhere.
Well, I figured eventually there'd be a movie made about the Dream Team.
This group may well be the greatest team ever assembled in the history of team sports. God bless you, and God bless America.
20 years can go by pretty fast, and the world isn't going to stop and wait for you to remember what it used to look like. 1992 was a time of change. New faces in America quickly transforming into cultural icons. None more so than the superstars of the NBA.
The Bulls have repeated. Let the party begin.
After the legends of the 80s had lifted the league's profile to new heights, a fresh crop of players had blown the lid off.
Here's Hewitt.
Robinson.
Their talents and their charisma made them more than just basketball players.
I am not a role model.
They were a new kind of star athlete whose popularity transcended the game.
Like Mike, if I could be like Mike.
Is it the shoes?
No, Mom.
And now the very best of them awaited their brightest showcase, the world's largest athletic stage, the Olympic Games in Barcelona, Spain. Even if no one truly
Bro, I know for a fact, like the other countries had to know they were gonna get stomped on, bro. Like, when you think about it, Karl Malone was on the all-time list at number 2. Jordan was on that team. Larry Bird was on that team. Magic was on that team. Charles Barkley was on that team. Bro, wasn't Chris Mullin them on that team too? Like, bro, it was just like
the impact they would make there.
It's a watershed moment in the history of sports, not just the Olympics, not just basketball. It moved the culture along.
But in 1992, not everyone was ready for them. Not everyone thought pro basketball stars had a place in the Olympics.
This kind of thing had never, ever, ever been done. So there was a lot of, poking the bear, if you will, by people in my profession. Sports journalists and journalists in general were skeptical, angry, because this wasn't the Olympic movement.
The Olympic ideal had always been about amateur competition, which meant the United States had always sent basketball teams made up of college kids, teams that dominated for decades. In 1972, the Soviet Union was awarded a victory over the U.S. in a controversial gold medal game.
The United States apparently had won the game, but the debate still goes on.
To this day, that American team still hasn't claimed their silver medals. But that result seemed like a fluke when the Americans got the gold in their next two Olympic appearances.
The U.S. has its 9th gold medal.
While the U.S. celebrated, though, the rest of the world was catching up. So in 1988, when the Soviets won again, there was no talk of any fluke.
The United States goes home with a semi-final loss to the bigger, more experienced USSR team.
I was embarrassed. I know some of the guys left their medals there in the room. They didn't want to take them home. And here we are, USA on our chest, and we didn't get the job done.
But the amateur ideal had gotten muddled. While NBA players were prohibited from Olympic competition, professionals from other leagues abroad could play.
Which that was weird. I think in so many ways they knew for a fact, like if they put actual NBA players in it, they would stomp the competition. It's just weird that at that time that they let pros from different countries, but they wouldn't let the USA pro. It's almost like they were scared, like how people was afraid of Larry Bird. Like they was afraid of the US stars, bro. They knew what was to them. They knew what kind of DNA they had going on over there, bro. And they know if they got them over there, it was going to be problems because they towered over a lot of players, bro, around the world.
You played in Europe for money, you were an amateur, but if you played in the NBA for money, you were a professional. And so our players weren't eligible.
Those other countries were using pros, playing against 18, 19-year-old kids. That is really unfair.
Changing the hypocrisy, though, was a central goal of a European named Boris Stankovic, the head of FIBA, the World Basketball.
And that man's name was Boris Stankovic, bro. Boris Stankovic.
Federation.
He was very much intent on lifting basketball up to the highest possible level of international sports. And if the whole world knew that the very best players in the world were not participating in the Olympics, that made it a second-class event.
So in 1989, Stankovic issued a resolution to allow pros from all leagues to compete in the Olympics. But back in America, the NBA was lukewarm to the idea.
We wanted to be good partners with FIBA to grow the sport of basketball, but we weren't particularly anxious. We didn't know what it would mean. We didn't know if our players would want to do it. We didn't know what the logistics were, but the vote passed and NBA players were eligible for the Olympics.
Now the issue wasn't about whether American pros could play, but whether the best players wanted to play.
The one guy that, that we were a little concerned about was probably Michael.
The thought back then was Michael Jordan plays 36 holes of golf 90 days during the summer. What the hell is he going to be doing playing basketball?
I was hoping they would not ask me to participate. And I was trying to figure out a way graciously that I could decline. I'd done the Olympic thing before, and when Rod Thorne called me and asked me, I wasn't gung-ho about it.
My appeal to him was, you're the top player in the world. This is bigger than the NBA Finals, and, we need you. His thing, well, who else is playing? I mean, are all the good players going to play? You know, I'm not going to play by myself.
So Michael Jordan waited to hear more. And Rod Thorne made his next call.
It was a no-brainer for me. You know, I was in from day one. And I figured if I jumped in first and said I wanted to play, that would get guys to want to participate as well.
I think with Magic's case, the reason why he wanted to play so bad was because of what had happened with the whole HIV thing and him being out of the league. And he just wanted to be back on the court. You know what I'm saying? Jordan probably, I don't know what Jordan's reason was about it. Like, but then again, like you said, when you've done something already and you've succeeded at doing it, you might not be as anxious to do it again. But they did know that, and it's about money too, because they knew the selling point was Jordan, because at that time he was the top player in the world. So it was like, if you get Jordan on board along with the brand that comes with him, it will be good for the USA. Thankfully, he actually was on board. It was only because of all of the major stars being on board that he actually joined them. So I could appreciate that.
I think if Magic wasn't on that team, I don't think it would have been as spectacular as it was. And to finish out our careers, that was important for both of us.
Once you get guys like Magic and Larry committing to the team, then all of a sudden it becomes something very, very special. Representing the USA is already a tremendous honor, but to know that you're going to be on a dream team is a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Magic, Bird, and David Robinson weren't alone in their pride.
They called in the big guns. We're the Navy SEALs that we had to go over there and kick butts and take names.
With those stars and the Utah Jazz tandem of John Stockton and Karl Malone, the dream team was starting to take shape.
It don't matter if you call me last. I got the call.
I didn't feel like that I deserved to be called, but I truly...
Nah, Scotty deserved that call, man. Like, for real. If Stockton deserved the call, Scotty deserved the call. Like, you can't do that with, like... I don't think Scotty gave himself enough credit at the time, but he deserved to be on that dream team. If other people think otherwise, I think he deserved to be on there. He was to this day, people accredit a lot of Jordan's success in the finals to what Scotty did on that team. So to say that he didn't deserve that call, crazy.
Wasn't going to tell them that.
I was like, yeah, I'm in. I didn't even think to say who else was on the team. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Yes.
Charles Barkley's ability was never in question, but his attitude was.
God want us to win the world championship.
I don't know if I go that far, Charles.
No, I talked to him the other night.
I learned early in Philadelphia. It doesn't matter what I say. So from this day forward, I'm going to say what the hell I want to say. And some people are going to like it, and some people are going to dislike it.
But after a series of incidents on and off the court, the least of the committee's concerns were about what Barkley would say.
I was asked to talk to him. He was so honored that we would even think about asking him. He convinced me that you won't have any problems with me.
Now, with the team nearly complete, Rod Thorne had enough talent secured to go back to where he started.
Representing my country was a big thing, but I think, the biggest motivation for me was now I get to spend time with some of the guys I compete against all the time.
Portland's Clyde Drexler rounded out the list of NBA players, while the final spot on the roster was reserved for an amateur, Duke's Christian Laettner, coming off back-to-back NCAA titles.
There's the pass to Laettner. Puts it up. Yes!
In any other Olympic year, Laettner might have been the team's biggest star, but on this team, he was fine with being the last guy on the bench.
I tell people this all the time, and it may shock them, but my most enjoyable year was my freshman year because they don't expect nothing from you except carry the luggage, do the laundry, and get our donuts. And that's easy. The harder thing is to be the leader.
By May of 1991, 2 months before the Olympics, the team was set. 1 college kid and 11 future Hall of Famers. The man charged with putting it all together was the unflappable Chuck Daly.
Okay, all set?
I'm set.
Chuck looked the part. He was the guy that looked like he owned the arena, but he would also push the broom.
His hair was beautiful. His suits were immaculate. He wanted to win, but he wanted to look good.
As the head coach of the Detroit Pistons, Daly did both, winning back-to-back championships in 1989 and 90.
The Pistons are winners and still champions of the world.
The Pistons were nicknamed the Bad Boys for their aggressive and some said dirty style of play, never more evident than in their memorable playoff battles with Michael Jordan's Bulls.
Michael on the move against Vinnie Johnson on the move. He is necktied. Michael Jordan goes down hard.
Detroit and Chicago had no love for each other.
So when Daly was named the Dream Team coach, many wondered how he'd handle working with the Bulls' biggest star.
I was being asked to wrestle with some demons and some issues.
But the coach was well acquainted with the task of managing personalities.
He coached the bad boys. And if you can coach those, you can coach anybody.
All right, so look, I'm gonna leave off on right here. This is where I'm gonna start at. You know what I'm saying? Oh wait, I only did 12 minutes into this video. It's okay. The next one will be a lot longer than that. I'm still not feeling 100% myself, so I've been, you know what I'm saying, gonna short. The next one I'll probably do like between 25 and 30 minutes, but this is one of my favorite documentaries to watch. This is actually my first time actually fully watching it, so I'm happy I'm gonna be watching it with y'all. So yeah, bro, it's been Carl from the Golden Grimmer Productions. Until the next one, peace.